So, welcome all of you. Today we are going to discuss the most beautiful chapter, current electricity of 10th CBSE physics. And I guarantee you this class is gonna give you a crystal clear concept of current, potential and Ohm's law. And one more request is that if you are watching my channel for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also to enable that bell icon. So here we start current, electricity. So welcome back. Our discussion starts with materials. Materials. These materials can be broadly classified into three. The first one, conductors. Second one, insulators. And the third one, semiconductors. Okay. Then conductors, they conduct what? Electricity. And these insulators, they can't conduct what? Electricity. And these semiconductors, they partially conduct what? Electricity. So once again, conductors, they are capable of conducting electricity, and these insulators, they can't conduct electricity, and these semiconductors, they will partially conduct electricity. And our discussion in this chapter is all about conductors, because these insulators can't conduct and these semiconductors, they are partially conducting. So we are not discussing about these things in this chapter. Our discussion is confined to conductors. Okay, so current electricity is all about conductors, because conductors are capable of conducting electricity. So the very first question you can ask me is that why conductors are capable of conducting electricity? Why conductors only? The answer is that conductors are having free electrons. Conductors are having free electron. That's why conductors are capable of conducting electricity. So how this conductor got these free electrons? How they got these free electrons? The reason I will tell you. See here, this is a conductor, and like other materials, this conductor is also made up of atoms. And we know that, see, here is an atom, a nucleus here, and shells are the surrounding this. Electrons are revolving. Okay, and if you consider this shell, the outermost shell, this electron is so far away from this nucleus. Okay, but this electron is not coming out. Why? Because this electron is held by this nucleus. See, if this nucleus is holding this electron by 100 joule, and if you are capable of giving this electron some 101 joule, what happens? These electrons will take 100 joule and it will come outside. It will take this 100 joule and it will break this bond. It will come outside. Now the electron is free. Okay, so how can you take an electron outside an atom? You should give it some energy. And when you come back to this conductor, what you can see is that, see, this is a conductor in my hand, and for this conductor, this surrounding temperature is there, no? It can be 30 degrees Celsius or it can be 34 degrees Celsius, no matter. For this conductor, this temperature is very high. For me, it's okay, this temperature is not that hot, but for this particular material, this particular conductor will feel like it's very hot. It's very hot here. Okay, and by using that temperature, this is an atom inside this conductor. For this atom, this surrounding temperature is very high, and by using that temperature, this electron, what it will do? It will absorb this temperature. It will absorb this heat energy. It will absorb the surrounding heat energy and it will jump outside. And what you can see inside this conductor is that so many free electrons are there. So many free electrons are there. and the rest of the atom, it will become, when an electron jumps out from this atom, the rest will become positively charged. So inside the conductor you can see so many free electrons and positively charged ions, positively charged ions, electrons, positively charged ions, electrons, positively charged ions. This is what you can see inside a conductor. So many free electrons are there, and one more thing, positively charged ions, that is rest of the atom. The rest of the atom is now positively charged. So this is what you can see inside a conductor. Okay, so in short we can say conductors are having free electrons inside that. Okay, very good. Okay, and from here I'm going to start the chapter. Okay, chapter name, once again, chapter name is current electricity. Current electricity. Okay, so here I am having a conductor, and if you are able to fix a battery across it, a switch over here like this, and the moment you switch it on, what happens? The moment you switch it on, what happens? This battery will pull this electron outside this conductor. This battery will pull this electron outside this conductor. That means electrons will come outside this, and these electrons will flow through this wire, and current is formed. So you can write what is current. The simple definition you can write is that current is due to flow of charges. Whenever charges flow, a current is formed. Flow of charges. Current is due to flow of charges. The second thing is that how can you flow this charge? You should need a battery for that purpose. So what is the role of battery here? Battery is my worker. Battery, who is battery? Battery is my worker. What this battery is doing over here? This battery is doing some work for me. What kind of work? This battery is pulling these electrons outside this conductor. That's what the battery is doing here. This battery is doing some work. See here, if you have some load over here and if you want to move it from here, you have to do some work. And for that purpose, you should have some energy. Okay, so by using this energy, you will do some work, and so that you can push it from here. Okay, you can push this load from here. Okay, like that, this battery is having some chemical energy. Battery is having some energy. That energy is chemical energy. By using this chemical energy, battery will do some work. This battery will pull these electrons from this conductor, and these electrons will flow. When electron flows, you will get current. So in this class, in today's class, we are going to discuss about current. We will say what is meant by current, first thing, and second thing is about this work. How current is formed? Because of this battery. This battery is pulling these charges. Okay, so this work, we have to discuss about this work as well, and this work is called potential or voltage. Work done by a battery is called potential or voltage. It is not that difficult, okay, but you should know the concept. Okay, you'll understand, I'm sure. Okay, you'll understand what is meant by potential. That's I'm sure about that. Okay, so today's discussion is all about current. Then we will discuss what is meant by potential, and one more thing is that is Ohm's law. Okay, so these are the three things what you are going to discuss in this class. Okay, very good. So first thing is about current. I will tell you everything about current in detail, and after that I will tell you everything about voltage in detail, and then we will discuss Ohm's law. Okay, so very good. Note these things, pause it, then note this. Okay, so first discussion is about current. Okay, there is a simple equation for finding current, that is I. The letter I represents current. I is equal to Q by T. Q is charge, then T is time. Okay, then what is meant by current? That is a good definition for you. That is, current is rate of flow of charges across an area of cross section. Rate of flow of charges across an area of cross section. Okay, see here I have a conductor. I told you earlier, conductor consists of so many free electrons. Okay, and here I have a battery, a switch. Okay, the moment I switch it on, what happens? Electrons will start flowing and a current is formed. Then what this definition say is that current is rate of flow of charges. That means if 20 charges are coming outside this conductor in 10 seconds, then how can you find current? 20 by 10. That means 2 is the current here. That means how much charges are flowing across this area in 1 second. Once again, what is meant by current? Rate of flow of charges across an area of cross section. That means how many charges are flowing across this area of cross section in 1 second. That is meant by rate of flow of charges. Think you understood, right? Number of charges or quantity of charges flowing across an area of cross section in 1 second. In 1 second, how much charges are flowing? Over here you can see in 10 seconds 20 charges are flowing. Then what is meant by current? In 1 second, how many charges are coming across this area of cross section? And for that you have to divide 20 by 10. 2 is the current here. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so now I will tell you about the SI unit of current. How can you define the SI unit? Okay, in order to define any SI unit in physics, what you have to do is write the basic equation of that physical quantity, then take the SI unit of all corresponding terms. Okay, over here for current I can write 1 ampere, and for charge I can write 1 coulomb, and for time I can write 1 second. And how can you define 1 ampere? We can say, see, if this is a conductor and if 1 coulomb charge is coming across this area in 1 second, current is said to be 1 ampere. Once again, if 1 coulomb charge is coming from this conductor in 1 second time, the current formed there is said to be 1 ampere. It's that simple, right? Okay, the next thing is we have to find how many electrons are coming out. Coulomb means it is the unit of charge. Coulomb is the unit of charge. Now we have to find how many electrons are coming when 1 ampere current is formed. For that purpose, I will tell you one thing. See here, charge of 1 electron, 1 electronic charge is equal to, charge of 1 electron is equal to 1.62 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Okay, this is the charge for 1 electron. Okay, if you take this term over here, you will get coulomb here. So 1 coulomb is equal to 1 electron by 1.62 into 10 to the power minus 19. Okay, 1 coulomb you will get a value like this, 1 electron divided by this number. Okay, and if you do this part, 1 by 1.6 into 1.62 into 10 to the power minus 19, and this part, if you solve this part, you will get a number that is equal to 6.25 into 10 to the power 18. Okay, this part will become this number, 6.25 into 10 to the power 18. Okay, and E is there, I will put it here. So this is equal to 1 coulomb. So what you can say is that 1 coulomb consists of this much number of electrons. 1 coulomb consists of this much number of electrons. You can see here how many electrons are there. 6.25 multiplied by 1 followed by 18 zeros. That's a very large number. Okay, and here you can say, I told you 1 ampere is that current formed when 1 coulomb charge flows across an area of cross section 1 second time. And now I told you 1 coulomb consists of this much number of electrons. That means 1 ampere, you can define it like this also. See, if 6.25 into 10 to the power 18 electrons are coming across an area of cross section in 1 second time, this current is called 1 ampere. In terms of number of electrons, you can define it like this. You can define 1 ampere like this. You can see here, in 1 ampere, so many number of electrons are coming out. 6.25 multiplied by 1 followed by 18 zeros. Very large number of electrons are coming out. That means 1 ampere is not that small. It's a very big quantity. Okay, 1 ampere current is a very big quantity. Okay, very good. So this is all about current. Now we have to discuss about potential. Okay, pause the video and note all these things. Okay, now we'll rub it. Okay, very good. So next we have to discuss about potential difference. So now we will discuss about potential difference. See here, I have a conductor over here. It is having so many free electrons, a battery is there, a switch is there. The moment I switch it on, this battery will become active and it will start doing a work for me. What it will do? It will start pulling these electrons outside the conductor, and electrons start flowing through this wire. Okay, then you have to define what is meant by potential difference. For that we have an equation here. Potential difference represented by the letter V is equal to W by Q. What is W? It is work. By what is Q? It is charge. Okay, and you can define potential like this. Potential is always defined between 2 points. See here, I have taken 2 points and you are asked define potential between these 2 points. What you can say is that potential difference is the work done to move one unit charge from one point to another. See, what is the potential between these 2 points? You can define it like this. See, if you are having one unit charge at this point, okay, you are having one unit charge at this point, and what this battery will do? Battery will pull this charge towards it. Okay, so what is meant by voltage is that how much work this battery has to do to move this one unit charge from this point to this point. Do you understand? What is meant by potential difference between these 2 points? Potential difference between 2 given points is the work done to move one unit charge from one point to another. If this is a kind of load, I should do some work to move this. Like that, how much work this battery should do to move one unit charge from this point to this point. That is potential difference between these 2 points. I think the concept is clear, right? Okay, now you have to define what is meant by 1 volt potential. You have to define the SI unit. For that, write the corresponding terms in the SI units. Voltage, SI unit of voltage or potential difference is volt. So 1 volt is equal to SI unit of work is joule division by SI unit of charge, Q is coulomb. Okay, from this you can define. Okay, again, see, I have 1 coulomb charge at this point. Okay, and this battery is pulling this 1 coulomb charge towards this point by doing 1 joule work. Then this potential across this point is said to be 1 volt. That's it. If a battery is doing 1 joule work to move 1 coulomb charge from one point to another, the potential difference between those 2 points is said to be 1 volt. Simple. What is meant by 1 volt potential? If the work done to move 1 coulomb charge from one point to another is 1 joule, potential difference between these 2 points is said to be 1 volt. Okay, simple. I am having a 1 coulomb charge over here and I am moving it by doing 1 joule work. Potential between these 2 points is said to be 1 volt. That's simple, right? Okay, so this is all about potential difference. I think the concepts are clear. Pause the video and note it down. Okay, and now the last thing we have to discuss, the very last thing, that is Ohm's law. Is a scientist. Okay, Ohm's law. It's very simple. Okay, once again, here I have a conductor, free electrons inside, then a battery over here, a switch over here. Okay, the moment I switch it on, what happens? The electrons will start flowing because this battery is having some energy and this battery is going to do some work for me. Okay, if I am using 3 volt battery, you will get a corresponding current. Okay, if you increase the voltage, if you using a high voltage battery or high energetic battery, you will get more current. If you are using a 10 voltage battery, a more energetic battery, you are going to get more current. That means if we plot a graph like this, voltage here, current here, on increasing the voltage you will get current here, on increasing the voltage you will get more current, on increasing the voltage you will get more current. Okay, your graph will be like this. You can write V is proportional to I. On changing this proportional sign, you will get V is equal to I multiplied by a constant. Okay, I multiplied by a constant. Okay, I can write that constant as R. This constant is called resistance. Okay, you can write it like, see, from here V by I is equal to R. You'll write it here, V by I is equal to R. This constant is called resistance. See the graph here. This is a graph for direct proportion, and this is a straight line graph, and for a given straight line the slope is a constant. For a given straight line the slope is a constant. Okay, so you can say the slope of V versus I graph is called resistance. That's a constant. Okay, see here, if you are having one more graph like this, this is for metal A, this is for metal B, and the question is, which metal is having more resistance? How can you find? The straight line with more slope. Which one is having more slope? This one. This is having more slope, no? So the straight line with more slope will be having more resistance. In a V versus I graph, the straight line having more slope will be having more resistance. That means in this case resistance of A is greater than resistance of B. Slope increases, that means V by I increases. Okay, so our discussion is almost completed, and in the next class we will be discussing more about resistance and the story of this conductor is going to help you. Okay, in the discussion of resistance, the story of conductor is going to help you. So see you in the next class. We will discuss about resistance. So thank you.